Hey, everybody. We are live tonight for Thursday night, Thursday, June the 4th. Pastor Dan here, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking with you, bringing you a word of hope and encouragement for tonight. If you are visiting for the first time, you can follow this thing live on Facebook at the Bridge Church. And also at my page, my personal page, Dan Quagliato, or you can follow us on YouTube at our new YouTube channel, The Bridge Church LI. The Bridge Church LI. If you don't have a church that you call home, I'd love to have you join us on Sundays at 9:30 and 11:15 in English and 1:15 in Spanish. You can watch our services there and join with others who are watching as well at those times. It's a really cool, interactive experience, really designed to build your faith, but even more so in this season to give you faith over fear and peace over panic, to allow you to worship over your worries and to have some assurance even in the middle of some of the anxieties that we feel during a time like this. If you have any questions tonight as we talk, just feel free to put them in the comments section. Let us know, and I'll attempt to answer that as we get going. And let me just say hi to a few folks. Pastor Joe, it's great to see you. Jenny, good to see you. Georgiana, Fran, I know some folks are hopping on. The little ticker there keeps going up. So we'll just give people a minute or two. And I want to share a word with you tonight from the New Testament of the Bible. I think it's timely for where we find ourselves and for some of what we're feeling and what we're going through. And some of you saw my message last night, and I've reproduced that in video form, and it'll be on the front end of our services this Sunday, because I think it's important in this season right now to lead very proactively with what's happening and to lead toward a preferred future, to lead toward the values that God would have for us as human beings and as people. I think it's just so important. And I think proactivity is the word really for the day. We cannot sit back passively and say, well, really, all of this is somebody else's problem to deal with. Well, this will go away, or, I lived through that. It'll calm down. People are hurting. People are hurting. People that you share rows with on Sunday when we're together are hurting. People that sit on our staff team are hurting. And so, it's not just enough to say, well, I'm not this or I'm not that. We've got to be proactive about that. And so that's really kind of what we're doing, because I think it reflects the heart of God. Heaven is going to be diverse. Heaven is going to be a melting pot. And we are to be an expression here of what that looks like. And so I think that's what God calls us to. And I want to talk to you tonight from one of my favorite books of the Bible, in the New Testament, the book of Colossians. And the author of that book is this guy by the name of Paul. And he has a tremendous experience with God. And he goes around starting churches, starting these communities of faith. And really, the world is changed in some tremendous ways. So if you think about it, in fact, the churches that you and I that we have today, the church exists because of all this legwork that was done. And he wrote letters to those churches. And in one, this is what he writes in Colossians chapter 3, starting at verse 12. Therefore, as God's chosen people. Now, why does he put therefore in there? Because prior to that, he's telling them everything he doesn't want them to be doing. Sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, greed, idolatry. Because you used to do that stuff. You had all kinds of anger, rage, malice, slander, filthy language, all that. You lied to each other. He's like, listen, you're new people now. You've had an encounter with God. So therefore, since God chose you, and by the way, every single one of you is deeply loved by God. Everyone. As God's chosen people, holy, dearly loved, clothe yourself, ready for this? With compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. Do you know how many wrongs in the world would be made right if humanity would decide to clothe itself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. Look here, bear with each other and forgive each other. If you have a grievance with somebody, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over these virtues, here it is, I love this part, put on love, which binds them together. And I love that he puts this word, this Greek word in for complete. Perfect is the word that we get it from. It's complete. It has nothing in it is broken or undone, which binds them together in perfect unity. The virtue of love. A friend of mine puts it like this: when love decides the moment, God shows up. You know, I've been on phone calls today. Great conversations, man, a full heart, where love has decided the moments. And they weren't all easy conversations. Some of them were pleasantly uncomfortable. And but I'm grateful, because when love is what undergirds them, boy, it's amazing what you can hear, what you're able to process, what you're able to say, what someone's able to receive, and what you can receive when you choose to allow that. And then I've had love show up today in tears, talking with my Black brothers and sisters who are still they're hurting. And so I've decided to clothe myself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness. This is Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14. Colossians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14. You know what we need to do again is we need to engage. We need to engage proactively. Love is not just a noun. It is a verb. It is an action word. Somebody said to me today, what do you think, Pastor Dan, about all of this? And they said, you know, I'm not a racist, Pastor Dan. I've never been a racist. And I said, I want to share something with you. It's not enough to say I'm not a racist. It's the next step of saying I'm anti-racism. Do you catch that difference? I could, in camaraderie with somebody, say I'm not a racist either, but I've changed that verbiage to be active with my brothers and my sisters and the culture that I on some level am helping to shape through our church and through our community and through my friendship circle, through the people that I meet that I don't even realize I have influence over. Instead of saying, I'm not racist. Oh, that's good. I'm anti-racism. I'm anti the things that take away dignity from people created in the image of God. I'm anti things that take equality, being treated equally, away from anybody who's a part of the human race. But right now, my focus is my Black brothers and sisters, because they are hurting. And so that's where I'm channeling that right now, and you ought to as well. But so he goes on, he says, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace, and be thankful. Be thankful. Boy, we could all stand to do those last two words, be thankful. What are you thankful for to do? And he goes on, the last verse, I'll skip over just for a minute. He says, whatever you do, whether in word or deed, meaning your words or your actions, whatever it might be, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God the Father through him. So can I ask you today to ask yourself a question? Every situation you find yourself in, every issue that you find yourself standing in the face of, how do you represent Jesus? And by the way, don't forget, Jesus understood some righteous indignation. He knew what it was to get fired up. And he responded to the things that just really stirred his heart. But above all things, he put on love, which bound everything together in perfect unity. And whatever he did in word or deed, it was to bring glory to his Father. And the thing that I'm learning about Jesus as I dive into the Gospels these last few days is, boy, did he protect the dignity of every human being. went to a tax collector's house to eat, to dine with him and to dine with his friends. That showed solidarity. That's what it meant when you dined with somebody. I just think about those stories of the people that he called to follow him. Catching, meeting the woman at the well who he knew was living a lifestyle that would be harmful for her, harmful for her family. And he came full of grace and truth. And he said, I'm not condemning you, and I'm not going to let these guys do it either, but here's the deal. Go walk a different way because your life will be so much richer. I love that. I love watching the way he did that and watching the way that he met people. And I think you and I should be thinking about that too. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a struggle and a pain. Everybody has a story behind their story that you don't even see. You may think you know it, but you don't know it. I said to a brother today, I call him a brother from another mother. He's my black brother. We're talking about worship. And we were talking about the songs that came out of this whole season of and culture of my black brothers and sisters, some of the richness to that music. And I began to get a little choked up. I said, so many of those songs, those spirituals that are so deep and meaningful, they were fraught in slavery, in cotton fields, and hard labor, and beatings, and all of that. And the emotion just runs through them. And we talked about that, and we talked about lyrics, and we talked about all of that. And ultimately we said, it all comes down to the heart, a contrite heart before God that says, God, I'm desperate for you. God, I need you. So I just encourage you tonight. Let me give it to you one more time. Therefore, as God's holy, chosen, dearly loved human race, clothe yourself with kindness, compassion, humility, gentleness, patience, bear with each other, forgive one another. If you have a grievance with somebody, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all of these virtues, put on love, which binds them together in perfect unity. My friends, let love decide your moments. Let love decide how you'll parent. Let love decide how you'll be a husband or a wife. Let love decide how you'll be a teacher or a bus driver or a construction worker or a landscaper or a leadership coach or a pastor. Let love decide your moments. And when you're passing somebody on the street that doesn't look like you, let love decide the moment. And proclaim what you're for in people's lives. He said, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Let the message of Christ richly dwell in you. And whatever you do, whether in word or whether in deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father. That's my message for you tonight. I'm going to hop off here in just a minute. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments area. I think I'm seeing the questions from Facebook, but not necessarily from the YouTube channel right now. So it's great to see everybody and to have you on, Fran and Darwin, Karina and Janet, Rebecca. Great to see everybody. Betsy, I gave you the verse, right? Colossians chapter 3. Shirley, good to see you. And Georgiana, Mary Beth. Ashley, good to see you, my friend. Fire out your question. I'm ready for it. Go ahead. Lay it on me. All right, Georgiana. Yep. Sean, man, are you on, buddy? It's good to see you. I met Sean. He helped me with some work at our home, and he's really a skilled craftsman, a skilled carpenter, and he really did a great job helping me with the project. And Sean, he just had a baby. He and his wife just had a baby, and he's a brand new dad. So Sean, man, congratulations to you, buddy. I know you're beaming as a dad. So congratulations to you, man. Betsy, hey, you're welcome. I'm glad that helped. Helen, great to see you, my friend from the Michigan area. It's great to have you. Ashley, you going to fire out your question? I'm waiting on it. I'm going to give you another minute, and then you will have to. You'll have to send me that question privately. Let's see. I'm going to give you one more minute to give me your question. You're welcome, Georgiana. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to speak in. to some of your questions and some of the things that are on your hearts tonight. Anybody? Ashley, you going to give me that question? Hey, Christy, good to see you. Happy anniversary to Christy and Pat. Okay, so I'm going to throw up Ashley's question here. Here's what she says. So you spoke earlier about being proactive. Do you have any plans to actually put that into action? I've seen a lot of churches together doing some prayerful protesting, and we're talking about that, actually. Our staff is talking about what we're going to do in response to some of these things outside of some of what we're already doing. I am really thoughtful with our actions. Okay, I think in particularly in the middle of very, very tumultuous times, you have people on both sides of the spectrum saying, hey, we slow down. Other people saying, come on, we got to go barreling in. And somewhere in the middle of that, the best part of wisdom says, let's think this through. Let's think this through, and let's pray this through. Your question goes on, says, is this something you put any thought into or anything else, not only in this moment, but going on in the life of our church? I'll tell you, Ashley, and to those of you who are watching, our church is going to take a very proactive stand against injustice at multiple levels. Right now, the level at which we're going to engage, because the pain is so widespread, is our Black brothers and sisters that are hurting. But as you know, we've engaged some of the injustices we see in our own backyard, people working and living at poverty levels who should not be. We're engaging there. And so I think as you watch the next weeks and months unfold, and particularly as we come out of the other side of this pandemic, you're going to see some clear calls to action, and probably sooner rather than later some kind of a call to prayer, and to really making our voice known for the values that are right. So I hope that answers your question. I don't mean in any way to dance around it. We're just thinking it through, and I'll tell you, at all of our staff meetings, it's coming up, and we're talking about it at length, and even how we grow differently as followers of Jesus. Because I'll tell you, the church needs to change. The church needs to change, and the church can't stay silent. We've gotten amongst my colleagues on the island who've begun to speak up like myself. People say, well, I'm not going to stay there, and I'm not going to stay here, and I'm not this or I'm not that, and whatever that might be. And I'm just kind of hoping that all of our churches band together to do the right thing. And if somebody wants to remain in a behavior or in a way of living that's contrary to what I believe God teaches us who we ought to be as human beings with dignity and respect, I hope people have a hard time finding somewhere, because everybody's heralding these values, and there's no place to go hide if you don't want to. And so, we'll see. There's a lot of solidarity on the island right now. And amongst pastors, we're texting and calling each other every day, praying together and reaching out. And I'm personally calling a number of our people of color that are sitting in our churches to reach out to them and to talk with them and to pray with them. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. And Ash, you stay tuned for more details. And in your small corner there where you are, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. It's good. It's good. Anybody have any other questions, just fire it in that comments area and let me know. I'd be happy to answer it in about a minute here. If I don't see anything, I will sign off for now and let you enjoy your Thursday evening. I have a little boy here that is ready to hang out with his dad for a little while. And so we'll do that before bedtime tonight, and really just enjoy that. So, all right, everybody. Well, it has been good to be with you. I look forward to seeing you Sunday at 9:30 or 11:15, 1:15 in Spanish at thebridgeli.com. And just remember, you are just so deeply loved by God. You're deeply loved by God, every single one of you. You bear his fingerprints, and he cares so much for you. So God bless you. Have a great night. And I will send some communications out probably on Saturday, just something brief. I want you to hear my voice and let you know I care about you. And then we'll be ready for part 5 on Sunday of our In the Meantime series. I'll be delivering the next 2. Actually, I'll be delivering like the next 5 messages. We're going to do a series called In the Meantime for a couple of weeks. And then I'm going to start a series called Me and My Big Mouth. That will be a fun one. All right. So, hey, God bless you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.